a lot of things. Okay, so awesome missed yesterday's session. So while waiting for Dr. Hazli, I appreciate all of you coming on board, spending your 1 hour with us, where we're going to discuss about, are you ready to start work mentally? Okay, no, are you ready mentally to start work? Oh, I'm going out of, okay? And please mute your audio and video. Okay, please mute your audio and video, because three of us going to talk. If you have any questions, please write down in the chat box. Okay, and we will just go as it is. No, we all listen. We are all different individuals. We process information differently. So if you are unclear, or you need more information, or if you need anything, just check. Okay, so it's okay if you have missed the sessions, because we have recorded the session. It's on my YouTube channel. All right, and it's Emerging Journey Asia. Okay, so a little bit on our speakers today. So we have a newcomer. All right, so we have Dr. Retina. Dr. Retina is a medical degree graduate who took a paradigm shift to move to the corporates in pharmaceutical industry for the past 6 years. So it's a bold move, yeah, from a medical doctor to and move to corporate. And she is passionate about mental health and women empowerment. Okay, and as usual, we have our famous Dr. Hazli, a psychiatrist and lecturer at PPUKM. Yang ni kena bagi standing ovation ni, because you are still up there as one of the frontliner to address all these issues when we talk about mental health. Betul tak? You are still seeing client.
Yeah. Actually, actually they are waiting right now. I think they're going to scold me for keep them waiting, but that's okay. We're going to do.
Yes, we're going to see you for 1 hour.
Yes, yes. Okay.
So hi Retina.
Hi Dr. Hazli.
Nice to see you. Because
nice to see you
I used to come in contact. I used to come in contact when with Retina when she was a manager in one of the pharmaceutical company that I'm dealing with. So it's not first time, right, Retina? But nice to see you
again.
We
go way back. Yeah, many years. 5 years ago, I think.
That's good. Because you see, end of day is like a small world. The more we connect, the more we link with each other, the more we network, we gain a lot. And all these experience, connections is so rich that you cannot trade it with any other thing, right? And all of us experience it differently. Okay, so yes, Dr. Hazli, you want to say something?
No, I totally 100% agree with your statement.
Yeah, and I like your baju. Ada pakai yang sticker tu, so they screen you the green color sticker.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we know even Dr. Hazli safe with us, yeah, or with all this crisis that is going on. Hi, Ahmad Rizwan. Hello. Okay. All right, so the topic that we're going to discuss today, again, is about mental health. And Dr. Retina going to look into, she going to share about, how are we going to go into the organization, okay, and about the mind, the mind of a pandemic momentum. So on and off, we're going to just go and discuss about this. So what we're going to do now, Dr. Hazli and myself, we're going to, so Dr. Retina, she have a slide which I'm going to share, and she's going to just run through the slide, and then we're going to have our discussion, yeah? So if you have any question, discussion. So if you have any question, feel free to ask. All right. So can everyone see the slide? Can? Dr. Ritina, Dr. Hazli, can you see the slide?
Yeah.
Yes, I can.
Okay.
It's nice.
Yes. So, okay. Dr. Ritina, please.
Thank you, Sangeeta. Thank you, Dr. Sangeeta, and thank you to Dr. Hazli for having me as one of y'all today. So just a brief introduction why I'm here. Also, that's simply because I have a lot of passion for mental health awareness, and we just happened to bump into the same platform. We had the similar wavelength, and here I am today, helping Dr. Sangeeta to pass some useful messages. And from my end, from my perspective, so I work for a pharmaceutical company. So the probably one of the huge differences between me and many of other people outside is I have a job still, but a lot of them unfortunately have lost, or probably suffering from pay cuts and a lot of other things going on. So from my perspective, what I'm going to share with all of you today, how are we working on the mind of a pandemic momentum? So there are three keywords. You have your mind here, that is inclusive of all your mental health. You have the pandemic situation that I will address later, and how are we going to keep the current momentum so that when we reach out there after MCO, let it be 15th April or 30th April, I'm not sure, but after that, how are we going to keep the momentum going and eventually still excel in whatever that we do? Okay, Dr. Sangeeta, maybe the next slide.
Okay, next slide. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So Dr. Hazli, I'm just gonna stop in between, so you can just please come and help me.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes, yes, yes. I need my
No need to
mentor.
me. I'm here.
I need my mentor next to me. Okay, so talking about the mind, right? So which I mentioned that it includes a lot about our feelings, our emotions. Right now, we are all going through a roller coaster ride. Some of us feel very stressed being at home, working from home. Some of us feel that, wow, it's a blessing in disguise. I'm working from home for close to a month. So a lot of us are going through different sort of emotions. But again, what I want to emphasize is that all of us should be agile meaning flexible. How are we going to have this emotional agility? So emotional agility means we accept and we acknowledge whatever emotions that we are going through right now, and we learn how to respond to it. So the gap in between of accepting your emotion and responding, there is the challenge. How you want to respond. So when you want to respond right now, I think most of us, what we are having through the emotion aspect is the fear. We are all having a lot of fear going around us. How are we going to manage the monthly expenses at home, the overheads, and a lot of other things. But then again, it's like macam ni. I give an example. If you're having a fever, the fever is simply because you're having an infection in your body. So your body's immune system is reflected to fight the infection. Betul? So, if you are having fear, that means your whole body is reacting to your emotion. And when you're having that fear, what would you do? Okay, tak apa, I can manage this. You will build the courage, right? Yes. So it's something like that. How you build the courage, and courage is for me, it's like fear walking around. So I remember Dr. Hazli used to tell those days, right? Like you need to accept, you need to terima hakikat. This is the fear, this is the anxiety, this is the emotion that I'm having, and I am going to fight it with the courage that I'm going to deal with. Right, Dr. Hazli?
Yeah, and then the good thing is you don't have to fight alone.
Yes, correct. And we have a lot of support, like for example Dr. Sangeeta with her foundation, Dr. Hazli, he's a psychiatrist himself. A lot of people out there are very helpful, and I think okay, that part I pergi nanti lah. Takut I termix pula. Okay, so if like I mentioned just now, if you have certain emotion but you push aside emotion, you don't want to talk about it, you hide your emotion, you don't want to discuss with it with your parents, you don't want to discuss it with your friends, what will happen? The emotion will get stronger. When your emotion gets stronger, it will overtake you. That means you are no longer in control. And therefore, I advise all of you to embrace your emotion. It's okay. It's okay to feel fearful. It's okay to feel shameful that you lost your job. It's okay to feel anything at all. Now, how you want to express it? Choose someone who you can trust. Someone you believe that you can share this and they can help you. That is something like Dr. Hazli mentioned, you're not alone. So look for help, seek for help. Because why? Yes, yes, Dr. Sangeeta.
Okay, just want to add, yeah. As you go along, I'm just going to come in and ask questions, and then we're going to
Yes,
discuss
please.
this, yeah. Okay, when we talk about speak to someone we can trust and all that, that can be a very strong word also, because we always say talk to someone that you can trust and all that. But there are time where if you look at people and all that, they feel that it's much more safer, or it's more comfortable to just talk to a stranger, vent everything out, and then that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
betul.
kan?
Correct,
So,
correct.
besides with someone that we can trust, we also can discuss this to so many different channels. We have a lot of people out there who is willing to come forward to just listen. Right?
Yeah. And Dr. Sangeeta, maybe you could share here like some of the contacts I think you have shared in the past, right? Those hotline, and then people that they can reach out to, they can just put up a ring, just call them or send an email. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry to stop you there, but please continue, because I feel that there's question that they say that they have trouble trusting people.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have
I
messages
get that.
saying that they have trouble trusting people, and when they say that, talk to someone you can trust, that is so difficult for them to do that. So that is why
Okay.
I say it out that it's okay if you need to speak to a stranger of anyone, just get it. Yeah.
Sometimes, right, it is so much more easier to speak to a stranger. You know why? Because stranger is not going to judge you. They do not know you. So they don't know you. They do not know what is your background, your past. So they're not going to judge you. They're just going to listen and probably give you a different perspective. Maybe Dr. Hazli, you can help here.
No. Ratina, if you start talking to strangers about something like that, you won't see them again. I think they will run away.
Yes.
Then you
Correct,
see the
correct. A
next time.
trusted stranger. But I think most importantly, what I think like we could do is get some professional help, I would say,
Yeah.
because these people will direct you towards the proper path and not mislead you at the same time. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Can I just say a bit, yeah, Ratina? I think, yeah, that's good what you said. Need a professional help, but at the same time, we have to realize that not everybody can afford it.
Afford it.
Second,
Yeah.
yeah, but I think what we need is, yes, you get some professional help, but there are also some non-professional who can do a bit of supportive work as well. So that is the reason it's important for us to get the family members to understand what the person went through,
Going
instead
through.
of judging, instead of trying to give advice. I think try to listen empathetically, and then at the same time provide some practical assistance. That's something that we did not realize. Yeah, it's not just about giving solution in the form of advice. Giving a support, and for example, provide the space for this person to do what they want to do. Do not question them if they spend so long inside the room, for example. But in fact, without asking the person why they spend so much in the room, is a form of support already, meaning that we understand that this person need their own time,
Need their
and
space.
yeah, so that is what we need to understand. Support, it come in a different way. There is many ways to do the support, not just by seeing a professional, verbalize it. I mean, giving advice, in the verbal form. It can be in any other form as well. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt also, Regina.
No, Dr. Hazli, you have to do this. I feel your point is so valid, and a lot of times these things are also overlooked because sometimes the family member dia rasa dia nak tolong, tapi dia how to say, sometimes they feel that if I do this, it's going to help them, but it may not be the best approach. They will constantly go and ask, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Talk to me. Padahal the person just want to be left alone. Yeah. So I think that is a very valid point, Dr. Hazli.
Okay, continue, Dr. Retina.
So the reason why we are talking about all these emotions from the mind perspective is because we all want to avoid the surge of anxiety attacks, the surge of panic attacks and depression happening at this particular period of time, because there are high chances this is going to happen or probably is happening. And you yourself, or if you can identify any of your family members who are going through this, you should be able to help, because anxiety is an emotional response to a anticipated future threat. So but there is books all saying that, you know, you show your anxiety who is the boss. That means you control your anxiety. So if you can really understand what is it all about, you can help yourself, and you can also help the people around you. And anxiety can also lead to depression. There are different types of depressions, and depression is the leading cause of disability worldwide, and it is a major contributor to the overall global burden of disease. And this is all reference, and I think we need to emphasize this, we need to understand this, so that we can take proper measures to avoid these two situations. Dr. Hazli, maybe you want to add something on anxiety and depression?
Yeah, I think if for those who have anxiety disorder or depression, major depressive disorder, which is a clinical depression, I think they are much more vulnerable to be affected. Meaning they are much their threshold to be stressed out by the changes in the environment is a bit much higher than those who do not having all the disorders. So I think at least for those who don't have it, we already feel the pressure dealing with COVID-19, dealing with the MCO, yeah, and we imagine for those who are being challenged with panic disorder, generalized anxiety disorder, specific phobia about getting a serious medical condition. So this is a very challenging for them. That's the reason they need extra support. In fact, some of the patients that still continue coming to see me despite this time, because their anxiety is even much worse than the fear of getting infected with a viral, the COVID-19. So it's for us who do not experience the anxiety, I think we are so lucky, because only for those who experience it realize how difficult to live with that symptoms. I think at least what we can do, instead of we not pity them or sympathize with them. In fact, we amazed how they still manage to get out from the bed and then take shower and start to continue live their life as what they want to. But in fact, sometimes they even more difficult because they have to pretend that they are
that they're
okay.
okay.
So that people won't
I think
ask,
that is the hardest part, Dr. Hazli.
because remember that when people ask them, are you okay? They have no other answer but to tell, I'm fine, I'm okay.
Fine. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So that is even much more difficult than us.
Yes. And I think that is the part where they are still in a phase of denial, and they do not want to accept the fact that they're actually going through that difficult emotion. Because the more you're bottling up, and you're going to bottle up until the end of the day, it's going to burst. And that is where it will come to a stage where even treatment or management will be difficult, and for them to accept it, to get rid of that emotions, will be even further difficult. So I think like what Dr. Hazli mentioned, it's not an easy journey. It's a very painful journey for those who have went through it. And the first stage, the first part, if you're going through such emotions, accept it first. It's okay. Depression is not a disease like what we think it is. It is actually a symptom, like how you're having diabetes. I think half of the people, if probably we're just walking on the road or even go to the grocery store, probably 1 in 4 people having diabetes. So we cannot classify depression or as a stigma, or treat people who are depressed as if they are an isolated population. So accept it. It's fine. It's fine to have this kind of emotions, and most importantly, we try to resort to look for solutions.
Yeah. Another thing that
I think Ratina, just add a little bit here. I think in this case, hopefully we can understand the similarities between having depression, having anxiety, with being infected with COVID-19. Because
COVID-19, yeah.
some of the people who are being positive, being tested and positive, or they came in contact with people who are positive,
Yes,
they're
yes.
afraid to reveal their contact, their status.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
in fact lie and try not to disclose the information. That is
Yes.
something that happened to a patient with psychiatric illnesses as well, like depression and anxiety. They know, because it takes a lot of courage to open up, to
Yes.
tell someone else that I have this. That is
Yes.
the reason what happened to those who did not disclose their COVID-19 status or the contact. I really hope that they're able to do that, because it's important for us to know that, so that we can reduce the spread of the virus. It's
Yeah.
the same thing also. It's important for people to know that this person has this anxiety and depression, so that everyone can react or respond accordingly. But the problem is, who are we to say that? Because we are not in this person's shoes, that they have so much difficulties to open up because they try before and then always backfired when people should
Yes.
not react or respond appropriately. So
Yes.
what we need to do is continue, try to educate further, understand, and continue support. The support can be in the form of continue be there, being present with this person.
Yeah.
That what make them and eventually trust that this person can be trusted. They are really want to help me. I think that what we need to do.
Yeah.
How to make this person trust us by continue giving our present to them. That is our gift to them, and hopefully eventually will make them realize this person can be trusted, and they start to open up.
Yeah.
I think that's what I hope that we will be able to do. Yeah.
So I
So
have
that
this.
is really very supportive to the person.
Yeah. So I have this issue where um, a friend of mine, through connection, called 2 days ago and mentioned that one of her relative, uh, COVID-19 positive. Because during that wave where they bring all foreign students back, Malaysians back,
Yeah.
right? All the students back. So one of the relatives got COVID-19 positive, and the first thing, has a friend, she feels, has a relative, she feels that, oh, thank God this individual have not been, contact, physical contact with any other family members, and she herself, from an individual who do not display any phobia before or fear, and now she have this. She said, what if now if I go out, I'm being, affected by COVID-19. So when the spouse go out to buy groceries and everything, so she didn't allow the spouse to go out to buy groceries. Secondly, after much of discussion with the spouse and all that, but the moment the spouse back with the groceries, she goes like sanitize 3-4 times because of the fear. And now she say, if I'm going to go back to office, will it affect me? Will it affect my family members? That thought of going back to office, the thought of, okay, I take extra precaution to maintain the hygiene, I sanitize and everything, but how am I sure that the other colleague is doing the same? Okay, that is one. And I have group of parents who share with me that I don't think I want to send my children to school right now
Anymore.
after
Yeah,
it's
right
being
now.
lifted.
No.
Yeah, right now for another
Yeah.
3-4 months.
6 months?
Yes, they know that it's bad. I mean, majority of those who are not doing homeschooling, they know that they need the social, missing their friends, talking to each other, and going out there. But they are afraid that if I allow my son or my daughter to be there with the rest of the students, will they get affected? For example, if just say in school, it's all clean and nice, but the journey to school or back, so it's so uncertain. So they are afraid. So how do we address this? this fear that is coming up, because sooner or later we need to go back. We need to meet people. We need to still go back to engaging with people, communicating, interaction. So this fear, now we don't really feel it because we are in, but it's coming out a little, and I receive a lot of calls of people say, Sangeeta, how can I go back? I have all this fear and phobia. I don't know whether can I put my kids out there. So how do we address this? One thing that Dr. Hazli mentioned, the support, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we come back to at this moment, a time when we are being exposed to a threat, everybody feel insecure.
Yes.
So what we need to do is how we can instill the feeling of security back to all the individual. Most of the time, we able to do that if we have a clear idea what are the rules and regulations. So that is important for us to have the standard operating procedure about going back to school, going back to work, which can apply to general. It's like a general standard operating procedure that minimum for everyone to follow. Of course, we know that everyone is different. Some of us has a little bit more a higher level of anxiety than others. Yeah, some people who do not have anxiety, they are the people who are still want to go out despite the MCO. We know that they try to wear it to do because they have anxiety. In fact, for people who don't have anxiety right now, they are not good for their own survival because they're taking the risk not follow the rules and regulation. So the authority need to come up with some standard procedure or rules that need to follow and expected everyone to follow. So if everyone follow that, is give a sense of security and safety. And we cannot, and then we have a specific instruction or rules for different people in a different situation. We have a different kind of recommendation for people in school, and will be slightly different from the one in the industry, in a different type of industry, in the restaurant. So the idea, I think, for the next step of action, we need to be more personalized and individualized, depending on the balance between the risk and important for the industry or the activities to be continued. So I think we're going need to be a little bit more specific, depend on. But again, if we focus on what we are having or doing at that time and our physical condition as well, of course, we cannot stop ourselves worry about future in 6 months' time, what's going to happen to us, whether our loved one going to be infected or not, but at the same time, why not we focus on something that we know and that we are able to control? For example,
worry
check,
smartly, you mean?
am I having any fever right now? Am I having coughing? Okay, and am I being in contact with someone that being tested positive or having in contact with other positive one? Okay, and then we check list on that. None. Okay, that's it. So it's the minimum that I need to do. For example, we worry about our parents, our loved one. And then we give them a call and then do the same thing, check on them, and then they're already clear. Then we stop worry whether they are going to be okay in 1 week time. We cannot predict that. We cannot do that. If we worry about that, we can. Nobody is going to stop us. But it's going to use a lot of our energy, and then we can't do anything in terms of the influence the outcome. So that is the time. This is the way what I mentioned earlier. How to worry smartly.
Correct. I like that word.
Smartly and not overthinking. So sometimes we thought that when we overthinking or think a long time for that issues, somehow it can be solved. This is the kind of magical thinking that we have, which is not working or it's not helpful at this moment of crisis. So
maybe I will just jump into one point, Dr.
leadership.
Hazli, to echo to what you just mentioned, right? You were saying that I think the worrying smartly component, which is one of my favorite things that I've been hearing in the past 2 days. I think Yeah, very smartly, because I feel at this point of time, which is also happening to me, we are actually being victimized by a lot of negativity from the news feeds that we are reading from Facebook. I mean, the different kind of social media and the platforms like Facebook and Instagram. I have people forwarding me videos about policemen actually attacking some citizens in the train in other countries, but actually that happened to be a protest that happened many years ago, but they mentioned that it is happening during COVID. And we have some robbery situation, happening in Speed Mart that happened 5 years ago and being forwarded now, saying that the crime rate is increasing in Malaysia, blah blah blah. What I feel is, when we expose ourselves to too much of these negative elements on the newsfeed, indirectly it increases
Yes.
our fear automatically, because we are all humans. And when that happens, I think our OCD level will go up automatically.
Mm.
Automatically. So, but I'm not saying that don't expose yourself, but limit it. And because if you know you're someone who is emotionally vulnerable, why do you expose yourself to this? Try to limit that. And like what Dr. Hazli mentioned, there are different specifications for different group of people on how you can manage the situation. Kan?
Mm.
If you think that you're worrying too much, you feel that, alamak, I takut nak keluar lah, tak nak pakai sleeveless lah, lebih baik I pakai lengan panjang. All these kind of things, right? If you think that that is worrying you so much, there are a lot of official portals, Kementerian Kesihatan Malaysia, KKM portal. They have very beautifully written instructions and also recommendations on how you can stay healthy, how you can stay, avoid being exposed to the virus. These are all official portals. You can trust them, and they're very informative. Go and read it up. So that will give you a different perspective altogether. And one more thing, Dr. Hazli, just to echo on what you mentioned about the different category of people, probably maybe the next slide, Dr. Sangeeta.
Yes. Next slide. Okay. All right.
The WHO.
This one.
The third one.
This one.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
I actually read through this morning when I was going through, and it is so beautifully written by the World Health Organization, and it was just recently published, and it actually speaks about the mental health and psychosocial consideration during this outbreak. And what they have categorized here, I feel like it's really good. They have messages for the general population. They got messages for healthcare workers. They have messages for team leaders and managers, employers in the health facilities, and then carers for children, and messages for older generation, people with underlying health conditions and their caregivers, and also messages for people in isolation. Very beautifully written, 2 to 3 pages. If you think that this is going to help a lot of people by reading, you can forward it to anyone, and you can actually go and have a good read, because they have classified and categorized it specifically for different population and age group, which I think is really helpful. So I just wanted to share this if it is going to be helpful to many of you. Yeah.
So what organization can do also, you can go and take this kind of information and educate your employees and educate your staff. Okay, so you can have a discussion with them. Might not be face to face, but virtually and all that. So when you educate them, they are more aware and they feel at rest, because they know that, okay, the organization are looking at at our well-being, not only in terms of productivity, but also in terms of our mind and emotion productivity,
which is very important.
Yeah, because if fear, it's not at ease or peace or able to function properly, I'm sure when you go back to work, your productivity in the organization will really go down. Okay, because we will still look at our mobile phone. We will still going to go and read about messages, because for the past how many days, 20 over days, we are at home, and that is what we've been doing. Every notification we will read, every messages we will read, everything we will read, and this will become a habit. When you go back to your organization, it will affect your work-life balance. It will affect your productivity, your engagement with your colleague and your bosses, and again, the expectation from the bosses, Because right now, anytime they call you or they want to see you online, you are there. You cannot run away. You can't say that, I'm stuck in traffic, I'm with
I'm
this
on a
client,
vacation.
right? I'm going training. It's not like that. So at any one time, you are at home, so they can track you easily. They can ask you, okay, I need this, I need this, I need this. And
Yeah,
they want the results to be immediate, right?
correct.
So,
Correct.
and this will also develop once you go back physically to the organization. It will still be there. I want it now. I want to get this done. So how do we break this and slowly go back to our usual being of how we work? Maybe right now will be more productive, but again, it can backstab us by, something that you learn. It might not be as what you need in your organization.
Yeah.
All right. So we need to look at this. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right, Dr. Sangeeta, because when I started working from home for the past 3 weeks, I think I'm working around the clock, which means I'm working probably double the hours that I was working in the office, simply because everyone is having virtual meetings, right? And I think Dr. Baines just gave a very good comment. I read it when it popped up earlier about dressing well, because I was so paranoid. If I'm not going to dress up every 3 days once or 2 days once, I'm going to forget how to put a makeup on my face. So I I actually try to do it, and that actually how do I say it makes you feel that you are still in that environment. It makes you still feel that you're geared up to work, and even though you're not meeting anybody, but you're on your Zoom session, virtual meeting, so you're meeting people, and that keeps your momentum going in the sense that your confidence level is also maintained. Yeah, that was a very good point, Dr. Baines, by the way. Yeah.
Okay. Dr. Hazli, you want
Yeah,
to say?
I think
Okay.
Dr. Sajita mentioned about when going back to work, and then the company expected everything to need to be done immediately and fast. I think if the company do that, meaning they are reacting to what just happened, because I'm sure that everyone think that we lost a lot of time already due to this MCO, and then they want to catch up.
Yeah.
That is a reaction.
Yeah.
So we are not going to do good if we react, but we need to respond, meaning that the top management, the company need to realize that everybody takes time to recover from what just happened. And now you expect them to produce and then not to perform immediately when they come back. That is very not mindful at all. So that is what going to put much more pressure to the employee. So we need to realize what is the usual psychological reaction after someone facing crisis. It takes time. So we need to reduce the company expectation and then support for those who need some kind of assistance. For those who do not need, that's okay, because they are somehow much more resilient, for example, and probably they have much better support at home, when we cannot just apply this to the same rules to everybody. So that is the importance of the management to identify and realize this. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we need to just pause and how then try to come up with and some suggestion how to respond to the crisis that everyone just faced. Another problem is when the top management do this, they always or they never include the input from every level of the company. They thought that they are in the top management, they know everything. It's not necessary, right? So they need to get the input also from even the cleaner in the office if possible. So that is the idea. How are we going to react? How are we going to react? Not good. How are we going to respond to the thing that we just face?
Yes.
So I hope this message will go to the employer, the management. How can we
Organizations.
support our employee who's coming back to work? Not just about money, please. Most people leave the company is not because they do not get a good bonus, probably because they do not have the understanding boss.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, and this
yeah.
also relate back that if you don't manage or look into your employee well-being, and if you keep on pushing them for performance, you can see at some point they will be just disengaged and they just do based on what you
Yeah.
ask. They will not go beyond, because when those who have this, fear or they are getting into,
productivity.
yes,
But if we able to slowing down initially, and then the staff, they know, the employee know, if they feel belongs to the company, they will work so hard again to be part of the
Mm.
company.
so I have this from one of our audience. So in my home, I have 82 years old mom who had to take pills to manage her anxiety attack. My husband, who is also impacted badly with C19, he owns a makan place at food court and is asked to close. So no income. I have two beautiful teenage daughter and me, and I have lost income from 6 months ago. What more now? Anxiety, depression is a norm because I able to control it. I am lucky that I am very agile and would like to think that I am also courageous. How I deal with my emotions, I let down my gut. Put my ego aside, call for family meeting with kids and husband, tell them what's going on. How are we moving forward? Ask for help and understand from each of them, and vice versa. Okay, and how we will share the news with mom. Then we sit again with mom, include her, and share with her the situation. Ask her what she needs. Surprisingly, she offered financial help to us. She said as long as she is alive, she will help where she can. So you will be surprised on who you can trust. Mind you, she's my mom-in-law.
Wow.
Wow.
That is
That is
Madam
Wow.
Aziza, is
beautiful.
it?
Yeah, that's
That's,
beautiful. Yeah,
oh my God.
It's
I
a
feel,
very,
I feel very
very,
happy for you. Yeah.
yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
a
I feel very
very,
happy for you.
very
And that is,
courageous
yeah, and
lady.
I think that definitely happened because like what she mentioned, she actually called for the meeting, right, the family meeting, right? So I
yeah,
feel in overall, when we feel that we are not being appreciated or people do not understand our emotions, there is something lacking and we need help. A lot of us tend to take a step back and not seek for that help, and it's sometimes very difficult to be bold, I think. For me also, I will have all kind of emotions in my head. Shall I actually ask this question? Are these people going to judge me? But for me, if we don't ask, we are not going to reach anywhere. And for the employees part, right, I think Dr. Hazli is a very good point about employers and organizations to be very mindful or to understand about what is the problem down there with their employees, whether they're coping with the mental health properly or not. I think organizations should start looking at it. And one thing is that not all employees are going to come up directly to you and tell you that this is my problem, help me.
yeah.
Because the employees are going to feel, if I'm going to tell you that, you're probably going to cut my salary. Okay, so I'm definitely not going to come in
Yes.
front and tell you this. No way. So there are also platforms where you can get your employees to give feedback anonymously, so they do
Mm.
not have to reveal their identity, their names, and whatsoever. We have a lot of what do you call that? I can't remember.
Online
Slido,
survey. Yeah,
online surveys, and a lot of things that is being implemented in the companies where employers can get feedback from your employees to really understand what is going on the ground. And that probably will help you to understand what sort of a help you can actually give your employees in return.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so we have William. Absolutely, Dr. Hazli, bosses who turun padang and understand staff will eventually have the support of employees. Okay, I also have employer who called and said that, some of them who can't bring back work, okay, the employees feel that they are in a holiday mode, it's about, not engaging. Bosses have no rights, or management have no rights to call them because the government say, you need to stay at home, you need to do this. But they forget that even though they can't bring work back home, right? You can't work from home, but you can upskill yourself, okay? get new what you call that, skill, learn
Hobbies,
something
skills.
new,
Yep.
learn language, learn, if you don't know how to do presentation, YouTube how to do a perfect presentation, you know. If you doesn't know how to create a video, YouTube it. Or you don't know how to run a meeting, there's a lot of things that you can learn, where when you go back, you will appreciate the time of you learning. Because right now, before pre COVID-19, this is my level and my skill of understanding or knowledge, or whatever we call it. But post COVID, because of the gap and the days, I've learned so many things. I'm in a different level of understanding and getting things done. So employee also need to work to understand what they need to perform, you know.
Yeah.
And I receive a lot of calls saying that, no, you know, it's not my employee, they just doesn't want to be there, they doesn't want to do this. So it's
True
work
enough.
both way. Yeah.
Yeah, I think another way, if we want to change the way we look in that issue, yeah, Sajita. For example, yeah, the employee, they are given ample time or stay at home and then do what they want to do, but still remain connected to the office and things like that. But what I think the employee can do is, because it's just to think that they do this not for the company but for themselves. Because
Yes.
why? This time of at this moment of time, it's important for everybody to keep their routine.
Yes.
One way of coping with the time where full of uncertainties is still try to make it something that's stable, or not too uncertain and not too disorganized. So that's the reason we always have to maintain the routine that we used to have. If before we wake up and then go to the office, try to use that time as something we do for the meaningful activities as you suggested. And then there's also the time that you usually take lunch. In fact, you want to maintain the routine, you have the Skype or online lunch with
Yes.
your team membawang,
Colleagues, yeah.
the team that you normally membawang during that time, please invite everyone to have the lunchtime online also. After that, take a nap, for example, have your siesta, and then continue working. Meaning that, and the time of we are full of this chaotic uncertainties, the thing that we used to know, we are comfortable with, this the routine that we have. So for the
Keeping with the
employer,
momentum.
trust. Yeah,
Keeping with the
yeah,
momentum.
trust me, most of the employee, they also want to continue contributing to the organization or to company. In fact, they still want to, if they feel belongs to that company, to the organization. The one who do not want to do that, I think we need to find out what make them feel that way. So this
Correct.
NCO, the time that we have is really a time for us to do a lot of reflection and then try to find out whether is this the kind of life that I want to continue? Are there anything that I can do to make things better? Just a simple changes would be good. No need to be so ambitious. So I think keep the routine, keep something that we're familiar with, focus on the thing that we can control, focus on the thing that we're having now, and think about the future to do a little bit of preparation, but not too long. So that that's what I would do right now in a preparation for myself to go back to work later.
Yeah. Okay. So it's we're gonna end soon. All right. And any last message that you want to give to the audience, Dr. Hazli and Dr. Retina?
I think we hope that we managed to answer most of the questions that are on the chat. But lastly, my probably I would say the takeaway message of a normal human being would respond and react in this sort of situation is that you will feel different kind of emotions coming to you, but don't reject that emotion. Accept it, embrace it, because we are all human beings. And when you accept it, then it will be very easy for you to respond, and that response will be more of the positive side and not on the negative side. So accept it, be bold, be courageous, and we are all in this together. When you need help, seek for help. It could be anyone. Dr. Sangeeta, I think she's doing a great job. A lot of them actually on LinkedIn, coming up with this short panel discussions and all that. Join them and get as much of information that you can. Try to avoid the negativity, and I'm sure that we will somehow get through this difficult situation. May God bless all of you. Good luck.
Thank you. Dr. Hazli?
Yeah, I would like to thank Retina, Sajita, and Hani, yeah, for being part of this initiative. I'm happy to be able to share opinion. I'm sorry if I did say something is inappropriate or things like that. But I just want to say this, yeah. At this moment of time, I think instead of us asking ourselves, what is it for me? What will I get? What the reward that I will get? What are the assistance that I need or I should have? Instead of asking that, why not we ask ourselves, what are the things that I can do to help? What are the things that I can do to ease the burden of others? So it's actually this the same thing that happened in the moment of war. I think like we heard this before. Don't ask what the country can do for you, what you can do for your country. So I think the same thing. Instead of asking, I dapat tak bantuan ni, I dapat tak bantuan ni, what can I do to help? Just a simple, small things is actually can be so meaningful to others. I think if we have this kind of spirit and we have this kind of philosophy in life, and how can we do this? And the more important, how we can do this together, because
and
it's
worry
not
smartly.
going to be easy. Oh, yes, of course, very smartly.
Yes.
Yes. So,
Okay, thank you,
thank you.
Sajita, thank you, Retina.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Hazli and Dr. Retina. So we're going to have more session. Maybe I'm going to organize more session with speakers and panelists and Dr. Hazli and all that. So tomorrow, okay, before I go into tomorrow, so today we have summary by Dr. Baines is smart worrying and smart thinking. Okay, and also look into something that is under your control. Okay, we cannot control things that is out there, but we can control things that is going on inside of us, right? And again, as I mentioned over again, the 3-second pause, the reflect, react, reflect, reevaluate, react, and also try not to take it too personal of things that people say that might affect you. Okay, and I would like to thank all of you, okay, especially Dr. Hazli for being with us today. For the first 3 days, it's priceless, Dr. Hazli. And I know your client is still there waiting for you.
Yeah. I need to apologize to all the patient and client who are waiting.
Dr. Hazli, you should put a banner outside.
I'm online sekarang. Okay, and the video recording, I will post it in my YouTube channel. Please go and download and subscribe and all that. And on and off in LinkedIn, in Facebook, I will post a lot of things about, going back to work. So tomorrow we have Dr. Baines talk about ergonomics. How do you sit? How do you manage your posture? Which also relate to your mental well-being, your mental health, because when you go back to your organization, you cannot be looking at your laptop, slouching on the sofa and get things done. And we have our befrienders, Victor Tan, to share more about the calls that he gets and how do people react, respond to it. So all the best to all of you. Thank you so much. And again, those of you who already registered, you don't need to resubmit the form. I will include you guys in the Telegram. With every day, there will be a new meeting ID and password. So all the best. Remember, reach out, speak out, stay strong another few more days, all the best and be resilient. Thank you so much. Okay, thanks, Dr. Hazli. Thanks, Dr. Retina.
Thanks, Dr. Sangeeta. Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Bye.